Research is finished. This isn't very pretty if you believe the draft is the lifeblood of your team. On the night of the first round of the draft last spring, it sure seemed like Bucs AC-loving general manager Jason Licht pulled off a heist. Just weeks after stealing Jason Pierre-Paul from the Giants for a third-round pick, Licht got that pick back and more when he traded down in the first round with Buffalo. A year later, that load that Licht ran off with in the dark of the night seems largely wasted. What looked to be a promising draft is instead beyond frustrating, as it seems the Bucs only procured 2 starters from having 4 picks in the first 2 rounds, including 3 second-round picks. Jeremy Bergman of NFL.com decided to grade each draft class for the NFC South teams following the just-completed season, and just as the Bucs are constantly moored in Buccaneers' Cove last place in the NFC South, so too, for Bergman, is last year's Bucs draft class. Is it a good or bad sign that 3 rookies started a combined 28 games in Tampa's secondary in 2018? On one hand, there's a reason the Buccaneers' defense ranked 26th in passing yards allowed per game and 31st in points allowed per game. On the other, experience. The whole plugging Vea battled injuries and got off to a slow start, but the first-round pick came on late in the season, recording 3 sacks and eventually averaging around 50 snaps per game over the season's last quarter. Drafted ahead of Kerryon Johnson, Royce Freeman and UDFA Philip Lindsay, Jones was a disappointment, struggling to see the field in a weak RB room. Davis could take over for the departing Brent Grimes next season, but the corner and Whitehead will be tested this offseason by new defensive coordinator Todd Bowles. Combine, free agency focus, where, to begin? If we are to believe the Swashbucklers' new skipper, Bruce Arians, then Jameis Winston is Tampa Bay's QB for at least 2019, meaning the Bucs can't relieve their ultra-tight cap situation of his $21 million burden. Some targets for release reside along the remade front 7 from last season: Jason Pierre-Paul, Vinny Curry and even Gerald McCoy. Any of their releases would count nothing against Tampa Bay's cap in 2019, but would Arians dare part with more than one of them? Quan Alexander is an impending free agent, as are Tampa Bay's 2 leading rushers, Peyton Barber and Jacques Rogers. Then there's Deshaun Jackson, who, set to count for $10 million against the cap in 2019, looks to be the odd receiver out if he doesn't take a pay cut. With the 5th overall pick, Tampa Bay can go offensive line or edge rusher or running back or linebacker, and it would do. Have fun, Jason Licht. Bergman gave the Bucs a C grade for last year's draft. Vita Vea, after he had a mysterious sit-down with Licht, sure seems like a future stud. Think about how awful the Bucs' defensive coaching was last year that it took a suit, not a coach, but a suit, to turn around Vea. Ronald Jones looks to be, as Joe is typing this here article, one of the all-time draft busts in Bucs history, which is saying a hell of a lot. Currently, Jones is the worst second-round pick for the Bucs since the bad Dexter Jackson. Don't stain Savvy the Goat's reputation. He had 5 picks with the Bucs in less than 3 seasons. Jones ran for a grand total of 2 first downs last year. Those border collies that drag around monkeys at halftime shows could do that. Cornerback MJ Stewart is a whole lot of meh. Yet another in a flock of nickel corners on the roster. A second-round pick should not be a part-time player. Carlton Davis seems like a keeper, though he struggled early. He just needs to stay healthy. Alex Kappa. It took most of the season for Kappa to get on the field, and it wasn't like John Hanna was blocking his path, it was turnstile Caleb Benenoch. Jordan Whitehead, a 4th-round pick, seems like a diamond. Dude was not afraid to stick his nose in a scrum and stick ball carriers. It was refreshing to see. He too just has to stay healthy. Justin Watson already has demonstrated he's a solid special teams player. Jack Sitchie may be on the verge of being out of football with a second knee injury in less than 2 years. Joe hopes his readers can gather from this post one reason why Joe is hesitant for the Bucs to trade out of the number 5 pick.